this is like fun with other, running friends. So I'm like, I'm going to do it because I knew it would put me in a good mood.
You are my BRF.
What's happening, Eric?
There for your victory lap.
Yeah.
Whoa! How did that happen?
How did you do that?
And all of a sudden I go to zip it up and I'm like, why is the zipper in the front right now? 0 out of 10 on the recommendation scale.
I am literally crying from laughter and from so much love. Oh my God.
It's like I see off for your cornhole.
And he just smashed Arnie like that and said, you stay out of this, Arnie. And I thought,
I don't run to stay sober. I get to run because I am.
And there she was, a halo over her head.
No, it's not very true. Okay.
And he steps to the side and just gestures. Here's the tinkle pot.
I don't need to tinkle.
What's up, everybody, and welcome to episode 222 of the On the Runs podcast. And we're only 4 sleeps away from the 130th running of the Boston Marathon and 2 sleeps away from our first of 2 live shows this weekend from the Fan Fest. We got a lot to catch up on. Plus, we have an incredible guest on today's episode. But before we get to any of that, I must say hello to my kick-ass Rockstar co-host, 6-star Erica. What's up?
What's going on, buddy? Are you trying to save some of your energy for this weekend? Because that seemed a little lackluster. I don't know.
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know. Sometimes I feel like I do way too much, and then sometimes I'm like, I need to be a little more respectful in the house and just not be so loud.
Sense. Yeah, it is late in the evening, so I understand. I'll let it slide this once.
We're trying to get the kids all settled down. And then when I came in here and I was waiting for you to come in the studio, I logged on Facebook.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what the first thing that pops up is?
What?
The Newcastle 10K is sold out.
Oh, no. That's the one you wanted to do.
I just said the other day, I think we're going to do it. Like,
oh, no.
Who knew Millennium races were so popular that they would sell out?
There's got to be a way you can get on a wait list or something.
There is the wait list option. I saw that. Okay. But I was like, oh, I just said this. And I was like, it's fresh in my mind. Fresh in my mind.
When is that? 2 weeks?
Yeah, it's the week after Boston. I was like, let's do it because I've been running and I'm feeling good. 3 runs in 5 days. Going to go again tomorrow. Go up the hill again. Do the mountain talks. I won't do a mountain talk every time, but once a week. And maybe you'll do a rail trail talk or something. Maybe once a week.
I can do that.
Yeah, you can do that. You did good today when I popped up and saw that. So, cool story that happened today. Development, weird, interesting, like fun, but also I get a text like 3:00 from Ashley.
Okay.
We have a problem.
Okay.
Now, when I get those texts, I know it's not really a problem. It's like it
seems very dramatic and I'm like nervous for you. Like,
this isn't like something like you almost burned the house down when I almost burned the house down, right? This is like, there's an issue. That's an inconvenience maybe.
Okay. So what are we talking about?
She sends me a couple of pictures of bird eggs.
Oh, do you have baby birds like in a wreath or something on your door?
Yes, exactly.
How
that.
Is that
a wreath on the door. Because
that just happened to Kimmy and Lucas.
Because you can't move it. You can't relocate it. It's against the law. Yep. And they say, like, try not to use the door. It's like, that's hard.
Well, I mean.
But it's actually not hard. This is our front door that we don't use a lot.
Yes.
We use it to get in the yard.
Well, that's good then.
That's the only thing we use it for. And it's nice out. So we're going in the yard all the time. But we start opening the door. And yes, the reef's still there. Like we've been inside all winter or skiing. And so we haven't put the reef away. And lately you see this bird, like every time we open the door or walking around the front door, this bird flies off. And I don't know what made her look in there, but she looked in there and there's bird eggs.
Oh, that's adorable. Well, if it's anything like my sister and Lucas, they had the same thing. And they were only there for a couple of weeks between when they hatched and flew away. So it won't be like
a 3 to 4 week
process. Problem for long.
Yeah, they say it's like a 3 to 4 week process. And, once the birds are able to leave the nest, you can relocate the nest. So, there's like a rule. I Googled it. Like maybe there's an expert that comes and takes the nest and relocates it somewhere in your yard. There's like a law that says you can't do that.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I had no idea, but I would leave it.
Yeah.
You should show your
can't
kids
relocate
that's really
a bird's nest that is like harvesting birds. Is that the right term? Harvesting birds?
I don't think
know.
so, but I don't know what word I want. Incubating? No.
You can't
I don't
move
know.
a pregnant bird nest. How about that?
Sure. We know what you mean.
Hey, I'm excited because of the show, and I got a few things to show you on the pod.
All right. Ooh, is that a My Race Tats little package?
I got a My Race Tats package. Let's do an
Awesome.
unpackaging. We got 2 unboxings today. So this is a package, and then we have a box. So this is going to be part of like one of your goals for the weekend in Boston. All right.
Okay.
Let's open this up. Dawn from My Race Tats, which Dawn, if we forgot to say My Race Tats for a Tuesday's guest, I apologize. I thought of it today. Did we say it? I know we talked about it during the final 2 questions, but did we say our awesome guest was brought to you by My Race Tats?
I feel like we didn't, and now we have to do it extra for today.
Well, that's
Thank you, Don, for My Race Tats.
Yeah, that's one of your jobs. You got to remind me that stuff. But
I stare at it too.
This.
This is a fresh unboxing, you guys. There's no editing here.
So, okay. We have a bunch of these cards. They say wearable reminders for confidence, focus, and determination. Okay, cool. Oh, so these are a bunch of 20% off My Race Tats coupon codes. So you're going to be handing those out all at Boston.
Hell yes. You
on
got
Saturday
it.
and Monday. And then we have a bunch of Boston My Race Tats. So we're going to hand these out on Saturday to people who want them, and they'll run with these race tats. You're going to make a video of you doing it for Dawn.
Sure,
That's awesome.
I can do that.
We have
That's
a ton
so
of
much
sparkles, Boston Strong, and My Race Tats stickers. So thanks, Dawn.
Yes,
That's
I
our
am
first
on it. That is a fun
unboxing.
project.
Yes, that's one you could conquer, I hope. You and Tara
Absolutely.
Pterodactyl Lindsay.
We got this. We got this.
All right.
Teamwork.
Are you ready for the big one?
I don't know. Oh,
We have a live show in
Yes.
Boston from the Fan Fest on Saturday night, and then on Monday, because of contracts and stuff, and you got to like follow these rules, we have to wear Adidas.
We have a dress code.
Not a problem for you. You have Adidas sneakers. I do not.
I ran Boston one time and came home with more gear than I know what to do with. So I am set for Adidas gear.
So I have to shout out our friend Beard, the bearded runner. Some of you might know him as Forrest Gump. He hooked me up with the friends and family discount.
It's a beautiful
thing. And I
thing.
got apparently the last pair in the warehouse in my size. Whoa.
Dude, we are going to match so well because my Adidas pair are those colors. I feel like I need to go get them so I can show you.
I got to pull out the other one.
Oh my God.
Inside the sole.
Yep. The
Boston
unicorn.
Marathon. I
Beautiful.
don't think I can ever wear these running. Like, these are so perfect. And
Right?
I hope
So-
we do more of these shows, and then I need them. So I don't want to run on them and ruin them.
Exactly. So the pair that I bought is a running pair, but I only break them out during Boston Marathon weekend. They are only just a for fun pair of shoes. Can I go get them? I want to show you my shoes.
Go
we
get
will be
them.
so matchy. It's great. All right, give me one. Okay, I'm back. I love that we're doing show and tell right now. This is so much fun for me. So this is my pair, and I can't even tell you what kind they are. Is the light
I didn't
picking it
even
up?
tell you what mine were. Oh, look, mine even saved the Boston Marathon right there. I just noticed. We are going to match so good.
I'm
going to
really
go to the
are.
expo really just to
look
buy
it.
a shirt that matches. Wow. Look at that unicorn.
Boston Marathon. Yep. So they're the
So mine
exact
are
same
the-
blue and yellow.
Addy 0 Boston 13. If that's
I
how
feel
you
like
say
I
it.
have the Addy Zero like twos. These are from 2018. So I have no idea. They even on the inside it has like
Did you run in
Ashland,
those?
Hopkinton. Nope.
That
These
was
are
'cause-
just my. Oh, you can run in them. They are like running shoes, but
I was going to
these
say,
are-
anything you wore in that marathon 2018 is probably destroyed.
oh, what did I wear? I think I had like Brooks that year. Those I wore the one like for the one marathon, and they were
Mhm.
absolutely destroyed. So a lot of my
Mhm.
clothes, well, the clothes were fine, but the shoes were just oversaturated.
Awesome. Well, we have an incredible guest today, brought to you by My Race Tats. But first, we need
Yes.
to talk about little logistics for the weekend. On
Yes,
Friday,
yes.
if anyone's in Boston, I'll be in Boston for a good part of Friday. I'm going to get our media creds Hopefully meet some people, shake some hands. I'm going to go to the Fan Fest and scope out the zone so I know what we're doing on Saturday. But then on Saturday, we're going, and we have a couple plans. We don't know the times, but afternoon, we're going to go to the expo to see our good friend
Ashley Paulson. She is going for a world record attempt of running 100 miles on a treadmill. So I think she's aiming for, is it 14 hours, 12 hours? But she's starting at 4 a.m. I think.
faster.
Was it earlier than that? She's starting.
Well, no, starting at
on.
4 a.m., but I feel like she want to do it faster than that.
She wants to do it faster, yes. So we're going to go check her out and support her any way we can. I just think that's absolutely like the coolest thing. And then she's running on Monday too. This lady.
I don't think she is. Because I've been talking to her and she might come to the podcast stage to talk about her world record after with us. And she said, let's do it on
Saturday.
She said, let's do it on Saturday because she's flying out Monday morning.
Oh, well, she's still registered because I added her to my tracker. So
well,
we'll see what happens.
Maybe she's getting her days mixed up, or maybe she meant Monday after the marathon, like right after.
Gotcha.
And I'm like, if you can walk, come to the stage. Bring Maddie with you. I want him on stage with you.
Absolutely.
And she was like enthusiastically yes in the email chain. So
oh my gosh.
Hopefully she's
so
there.
Awesome.
We're going to have other friends visiting us to come on the show on Saturday. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes.
And then Monday, mile 19.2 from the Johnny Kelly statue. If you're running the marathon, we will be on your left. If you are not running the marathon, you are welcome to come and cheer with us because this has just turned into an epic cheer station. Erica, you bring all the goodies for everybody.
Yep, I have to go shopping, but this year I'm going to keep it more to the bare minimum. I'm going to have waters, some Cokes, and probably some candy to give out. So
you got to bring Ashley's snack, though, for Saturday. Bring the
different.
cheese puffs for Saturday.
Okay, I will
when
go
she
shopping
comes on stage, we're like, hey, have some cheese puffs. Yeah,
you earn these, girl.
You earn them. That's going to be a lot of fun. Then around 3 o'clock, 3:30, we're going to leave, head into the city. Maybe we go to the finish line with our media creds. I don't know. Maybe. But we are doing the post-race podcast from the Boston Marathon, Sam Adams, mile 27 post-race party. We record for 1 hour from 6 to 7. It's going to be phenomenal. We're going to pull people from the party, bring them on stage. We have friends who are running who are going to come on stage, talk about the marathon. What a cool thing we get to do here. Have you seen the Boston Marathon like posting our name in their post and collabing with us and commenting and pinning the comments and just, it's so cool to see those posts. I want to get them printed and like put on the wall behind me.
This really is the coolest thing, and it kind of makes it a little bit better because otherwise I'd have total FOMO as per usual. I love everything Boston, and it's so cool to just be able to be a part of it.
Yeah, it's man, so cool to see our name on all their posts, and everyone's sending it to us, and we're just like so excited. So I'm excited.
Come support us.
Come see the show. Come say hi. Come to mile 19.2, and thank you so much for everyone's support. And I think it's the perfect time to get to our incredible guest today because a lot of the people here probably know who our guest is.
You guys are in for a treat this week for our final Boston Weeks episode. This week we have Trenni Casey, and you probably know her from NBC all over your TV, especially if you watch the Olympics this year. She was absolutely amazing, and she taught us a thing or two about some lesser-known sports, at least in my book. But she has some excellent stories to share, especially a couple of Code Brown. So you guys are going to want to stay tuned and check her out.
That's right. Thank you to My Race Tats for bringing us this episode. And by the way, it's not the last Boston Weeks episode. We have more after the marathon. We'll talk about that on the other side. That's right. But enjoy Trenni Casey on the On the Runs podcast, and we'll see you on the other side. Our next guest on the pond was born to be a fiddler in an old-time string band, originally a cheesehead and now an adopted Bostonian. You may have seen or heard her on your Boston Sports TV covering the City of Champions, but she's a big-time runner, recently ran across the state of Wisconsin and has run multiple Boston marathons. Her husband might be a Habs fan, but we'll let that slide right now because we're wicked excited to welcome her to our PodFam. Trenni Casey, welcome to the On Runs podcast. What's up?
Hi, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Hi, Hi, Trenni. Oh, it's such an honor to have you on the podcast because we have been seeing you all over our TVs, especially during the Winter Olympics this past year. So it's super cool that you're here getting to talk to us, and we're just so happy to have you. Welcome.
Thanks for having me. I can give you some curling tips too, not just running.
I went curling last year.
Will
Did you
that
like it?
translate to me cleaning my floors better?
I mean, maybe you could sweep. We could yell at
I
you
think
hard.
I need some work. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get the shoe, though. One slides, one doesn't.
Yes.
And I like busted my knee a couple times. I was in Sweden for work, and they took us curling. It was, dude, it
People
was
have
hard.
no idea how hard it is. And like the amount of flexibility and core strength you need, because like you basically slide down the ice in pigeon pose.
Yes.
If you're like a yoga person.
Mm-hmm.
So you slide down the ice in pigeon pose, and then you can't just like chuck the stone down the ice. You have to have touch, because like, do you want it in the front of the house? Are you placing a guard? Are you trying to get it, like, are you trying to take out rocks? You're just like throwing it really hard. I mean, it's all like it's also
Mind-blowing.
like geometry and physics, like which way should it go, and do you curl it in or do you curl it out? Like
Strategy too, right?
It's strategy of like, exactly. It is a thinking person's game, despite the fact that if you do it at like a curling club, you can totally drink beer while you're doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
The
And
best
now
of
you
both
got
worlds.
what was the gate called with the Patriots? You got the camera on the Canada guy pushing it a
boop
tiny
gate?
bit. Yes.
Boopgate.
Boop gate. Because
That must
he
have been
like
fun.
booped.
Yeah,
He, like,
just a little boop.
just a little boop on a stone.
I love this.
That was fun to watch. You know, the Olympics are a lot of fun, and I think it's maybe you might think differently, but I think it's more fun that it only happens every 4 years or every 2, because you got winter and summer. But if this happened every year at that amount of like a workload and a hype, I don't know if the hype would be there like it is for 4 years.
Absolutely not. Because also, like, part of I think like the story and why people are so behind the athletes for any Olympic Games is that they know they went through. I mean, athletes will call it the quad. They go through the quad, where you go through this build of 3+ years to get to this point, and you know that if you don't reach your goal, and I don't want to call it fail, because is it ever a failure if you make the Olympics? Like that, like one person wins and 2 other people get on the podium, like, and that's, so you're the best. You could finish 7th, and you're still like the 7th best in the world at something, which
Right.
Not
is
a big
insane.
deal.
Kind of a big deal. I'd like to be 7th best at anything. And so that, like, to me, that's like such an easy way. And honestly, we kind of have, I guess, the Olympics every year, because there's still world championships
Right.
for everything every
True.
year. There's national championships, but we don't get behind it in the same way, because it's not all in one place. There's not like the pomp and the circumstance. So I am kind of happy it only happens. Also, I have to like go live in Connecticut for 3
True.
weeks. So, which isn't terrible. We stay at really nice hotels, and it's super fun, and the wardrobe is awesome, and I get a whole glam team. So I love doing it. But now that I'm in studio, I don't actually travel to the place anymore. And also then I'm like gone and away from like my husband and my dogs and stuff for 3 weeks. So it's hard. It's not
That's a
like
lot.
it's a hard, and you're like working. You work, everyone's like, "Oh, what do you do on the weekends?" I'm like, "I work." Like, you work 7 days a week for 3+ weeks when you're
Yep.
at the Olympics.
It's not a
like I get, like,
vacation.
it's not a vacation. It's not a vacation. But it's awesome. I wouldn't trade. I like, when I started at NBC, I was like, I hope they ask me to do one Olympics. It'd be so cool to do an Olympics. And I've done, I think Milan Cortina was my 6th.
Wow. I can't believe that's so cool. Like, I've been following you for God. I was
I'm
telling you earlier
counting.
before we recorded, but like when apps became a thing, and I was listening to you on the radio, and then I'm seeing you on TV, because just being a Boston sports fan, and you're doing all the Boston sports, and then you're doing the Olympics. It's actually been awesome to watch you progress over that time. And now I would call the Olympics like one of the top.
Oh yeah. It's unbelievable. And like, even within the Olympics, when I first started, I was the curling reporter. And I would do tennis in the Summer Olympics. And I went to Tokyo and I did tennis there. And then I was supposed to go to Beijing and be the curling reporter in Beijing, but she's fine. I always preface this by saying my mom's fine, but she was diagnosed with breast cancer. And so she was going through chemo, and I didn't know, like, it was COVID-y time still, and it was Beijing, and they were really strict. And I was like, what if, God forbid, something happened to her while she was in treatment? And I was so afraid that if I didn't go, that NBC would be like, okay, you didn't go. I guess we're just done with your little Olympic stint. We'll find someone else. But they
Ooh.
were wonderful, and they brought me back. And for Paris, and then when they did Paris, they said, we'd like to try you in studio as a studio host, which obviously people look at it and go, oh, but you don't get to go to Paris. You don't get to go to or you don't get to go to Milan. And I'm like, yeah, but I'm a studio host for the Olympics. Like, I get to cover all of the sports. And again, I get like this whole glam team, and it's like this a whole different level of like of a challenge. And like being a venue reporter is very, very hard. But like, I'm sure when you watch the Olympics, like, how often do you see the venue reporters, right? Like, not that often, but you see the hosts all the time because they're getting you in and out of things, and they're doing intermission reports. Like, we did hockey on our air this year for the and a lot of curling. And so it's just like a different challenge. And it was pretty cool that like they saw something in me that they didn't, that it wasn't like, okay, well, this is what you've done, so this was you're always going to do. But that an opportunity to kind of even do like a little step up like within the Olympics is pretty awesome.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Before you became a studio host, how did you get to decide which sport you covered, or did they kind of just stick you in? And how do you prepare for something like that?
I definitely don't get to choose. Not that I wouldn't have chosen curling, because it's an awesome sport now that I know a lot about it, but I didn't know anything about it.
Yep.
So it's kind of interesting. So the reason I got to first was like into the Olympic world, in 2014, someone was supposed to cover short track speed skating, and then they decided they didn't feel comfortable at the time. um there were some like geopolitical issues and some concerns about like terrorism attacks in
Ooh.
the Soviet in Russia. Let's call
Yeah.
it the Soviet Union because I'm 100 years
The
old.
USSR.
This USSR, um, in Russia. And so someone didn't feel comfortable going. And so they asked out of short track speed skating. So they moved Steve Sands, who's a Golf Channel reporter and now does like play by play and hosting for Golf Channel. They moved him to short track from curling. And then someone I knew in like NBC, the talent office, was like, I know someone who I think can handle like getting thrown into something at the last minute. She's done a ton of reporting. She's an experienced television person. And so they recommended me to the person who hires for the Olympics. And she was like, do you think you can handle curling? I was like, sure. I did
Handle
a feature
curling.
once.
I got
I can
this.
do it. She sent me, this is how long ago it was. It was 2014. She sent me DVDs of curling. So I'd
I
watch
love that
DVDs
throwback.
at home
Mhm.
and then like kind of like try to learn the game, like learn a little bit about the game. But it was really kind of trial by fire. And I just like leaned heavily on the people around me who had covered it before. And at that point, Team USA wasn't great. So it kind of allowed me, like, it wasn't like they were a big storyline, and curling wasn't what it is now. Like when they won gold in 2018, when the men's team did,
Mhm.
then like curling, I think like took off even to like another level. Like the show I hosted during the Winter Olympics was all curling. And CNBC is basically known as like the curling channel. Now, on the weekends, we also had other live events, but like it's become so big that it's like it is the most watched winter sport. Now, part of that's because it's on all the time. So let's be fair.
That helps.
Um, but people do love it and become like really obsessed with it. And so that's how I got that. And then tennis, I think they just were like, we need a tennis reporter. If she can do curling, she can probably do tennis. Like, how hard can it be?
Easy
So yeah,
transition,
I
right?
mean, you just kind of like do a lot of homework, and you have a research department, you have a producer that you work with. And for me, like being a reporter, a lot of it is always listening to whoever the expert is. So like listening to the analyst. And if the analyst is really harping on something, or the analyst thinks something is a big storyline and they're talking about it in the broadcast of the game, that's obviously something important to pay attention to as
Yeah.
a reporter. So I always just, I guess I'm just not afraid, especially at this point in my career in life. Like, I'm not afraid to ask questions if I don't know the answer to something.
Mhm.
So I asked a lot of questions
There we
so
go.
that I don't ask dumb questions to the athletes. Although sometimes I probably still did ask dumb questions, and they were just nice enough to not say anything.
There's no such thing as a dumb question. Eric knows that pretty well.
That's actually not true. I know we say that, but
Do you
there are
have
some
an
real,
example?
there are some real
Do you have a
dumb
Code
questions
Brown story about
sometimes.
asking a dumb question?
Um, I'm trying to think of like the dumbest question I've ever asked. I mean, I'm sure I have, but I've just mentally blocked it out. But like today, and this is just such a recent example of this. Today we were watching the playback of the Robert Kraft availability. And like you get like 7 minutes with the owner of the Patriots. And I, we think we know who the reporter was. We're not going to throw that person under the bus. But the person asked about the new training facility for the Patriots players. And we're like, who the bleep cares about the training facility? Like, you haven't signed Christian Gonzalez. You have Drake May. Like, you need to like draft well. Like, you went to the Super Bowl. What are your expectations? Like, the owner's 85 years old. Now his son is here. Like, there are a million storylines that you could possibly talk about. And you're like, so how about that new weight room? Like, no one cares about the new weight room.
There are priorities.
My other big, now that I'm old, and Dan Shaughnessy complains about this all the time. And it is one of my biggest like reporter pet peeves. And my husband knows this because when we're like watching sports at homes, like a sideline reporter will often ask, like, how excited were you about that play? One, that's not a real question. Two, that's an assumption that the person was excited about the play. Like, they probably were, but let them tell you they were excited about the play. Like, wow, like what were you thinking or what were you feeling when that shot went through the net? What does this mean to accomplish this? Not like, how excited are you to win a title? Like, no shit, they're excited to win a title, you morons. Like,
You want to draw
like
it out instead of just
my
getting like a yes.
draw it
I
out.
was.
Like, it just drives me bananas that we've like talk me through that play. Not a question. Talk me through that play is like what happens when your brain freezes and you can't think of anything else.
Oh, I've been there. Yep.
And
I don't do reporting.
In
but...
fairness, it happens. It happens to everybody. But like when it's like your fallback question for every time you're talking to an athlete, like, I don't know, maybe you should just like, think about another profession.
Fair enough.
I love this one story. I'm a big NASCAR guy. I worked in NASCAR for a while, a long time ago. There's this guy on the radio. I'll call him out by name. His name's Dave Moody. And he asked Tony Stewart a question before a race at Indy. He goes, I assume you're going to take your best car this weekend. And Tony goes, no, Dave. I'm actually going to take my fourth best car this weekend. We decided to leave the best car at home.
See, and I kind of like, and people get sometimes mad when like an athlete gets a little snarky with a bad question. And I'm like, no, I am actually glad that you're sort of calling that person out on like not being prepared. And although in fairness, sometimes when things are happening fast or someone's in your ear and so you get thrown off, like then all of a sudden you're like, oh crap, talk me through that play. Like it does happen.
Right.
To me, it's when it's like a pattern of how that person like does interviews where it's like, no, I know you're better than I know you can do better.
No one listening right now knows that this is a running podcast, by the way. This has been a lot of fun.
Yeah, I know.
I will say this.
We're at a running podcast right now, everyone, not a curling podcast.
I will say this. When I told Erica that I, was emailing you and got, we scheduled something, she's into hockey right now and she's into heated rivalry. And she goes, oh, I wonder if she knows TJ Oshie.
A little embarrassing.
And I go, you know who TJ Oshie is? She had no clue about the shootout thing. She just knows him from TV and that he's a hockey player now. And
Wait a second.
He name dropped it.
So wait. So I've not seen Heated Rivalry. TJ Oshie's not in Heated Rivalry.
No.
But he was on NBC during the Olympics.
I know. He was on. Yes. I have pictures with him. He's very nice. He's a lovely married father of 4. I'm sorry. He is very nice. He's like a super nice Minnesota guy, and he was super easy to work with. And yeah, he had like one of the greatest appearances in Olympic history in a shootout in the Pyeongchang, right? 2018?
No, it was Sochi.
Or it was Sochi.
Against the USSR.
It was Russia then.
Against Russia, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I'm just being funny.
I was like, wait, no, they're Russia. Yeah.
See, I talk about my fictional hockey players, and then Eric's like, but there are real ones out there who do awesome things, and then he'll fill me in on all the good stuff. So that's what Eric is here for.
I still need to watch Heated Rivalry. I have heard it's great.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
I have not seen it yet, but
anyway, running podcast.
But I do watch the Boston Fleet. I love them. Running podcast, Wisconsin. You're a cheesehead. I think you're even a Packers fan. And I know
I
we're
am.
talking about but you've run Boston Marathon a couple times. But let's go to the beginning. Like, I know ever since I've been listening to you that you are a runner. But when did running start for you?
So I started running. I mean, did I start running like when all people do in college when you started drinking too much and got fat after high school? Because
I
that's
did
why
that
I started.
after. That's why I started.
I went home for Thanksgiving my freshman year. I did not. I hated running in high school. Like I didn't want to run around a track or anything. I was a pom pom girl, but I was very tiny. I was just like I could eat a whole pizza and like drink regular Coke and not drink water, and I still barely weighed 100 pounds. And then I went to college, and I came home at Thanksgiving, and my grandmother literally looked at my plate of food. She's like, "Do you really need all that food?"
Oh,
And I was like, "Oh,
Grandma.
maybe I don't." And my dad's like, "So you're really hitting the beer, huh?" And I was like, "Oh, I should probably start exercising again."
But freshman
Um,
15 happens. Like, it happens to
oh, it was.
everyone.
Oh, it might have been more than 15, Erica. It
Oh,
was
Trenni.
kind of a lot. It was like, oh, I guess if I'm not dancing for 3 hours after school every day, I put weight on. Okay, great. And so I was like, well, maybe I can start. I don't know. Maybe there was like a guy I liked that run. I don't know, but I just started running.
Mhm.
And so I was like, oh, I kind of like this. And I kind of like the feeling I get from running. And then I would start running and I would start doing like races. And in my early 20s, I was like, oh, I could like run a race and like not be the last person. And I've never really been good at sports. And then the more I ran, the more I liked it. And then I
Mhm.
got into distance running when I moved to Pittsburgh. I had like worked out at a gym, and one of the trainers there was like, hey, I'm thinking about running this half marathon. You want to run a half marathon? I was like, sure. This kind of sounds fun, I guess. And then I did it, and I certainly wasn't fast. I couldn't even tell you what my time was. Um, I certainly didn't eat anything. I don't even know if I drank anything over the 13.1 miles. I mean, now I eat like a gel every 30 minutes. Um, and I just liked it. And then I was like, oh, well, I guess maybe I'll run a marathon. And then I ran my first marathon. I think it was 2003 or 2004 in Chicago.
Mhm.
And I ran like a decent time for a first marathon. I think my first marathon was a 4:12.
That's great. Yeah.
But I remember finishing, and it was like a beautiful day, and my family was there because they had all come down from Milwaukee, and I was still living in Pittsburgh. And I was like not sore, not limping. And this woman looked at me and she's like, how do you feel? I was like, I actually feel really good. She goes, well, obviously you didn't run fast enough. And I was like, wait, what? And she was like, well, if you feel fine, like you should feel kind of crummy after running a marathon if you gave it your all. And I was like, but I thought I did. But I'm
Mhm.
glad she said something, because I was like, huh, I wonder if I can run faster. I had no idea about qualifying for this. Is like so long ago. Like it wasn't like it is now where there's so much social media and there's so much pressure to be fast. I was like, all right, I guess I'll try to like train next time. And so then I was like, I wonder if I could qualify for Boston. Like, who runs a 4:12? I was like, I wonder if I could qualify for Boston. So I ran the rock and roll. Do those even still exist?
I think they do
The
somewhere.
rock and roll marathon in Phoenix, and I actually ran a 3:45.
Wow.
So
Whoa.
I took I took a ton of time off.
Did you hurt?
I did. I hurt, and it was hard, and it was like there were people on the course, but not a ton, and so there wasn't like a lot of like support like there was in Chicago. So it was a
Mhm.
mentally really difficult race. But I don't know. I guess I liked the structure. I liked the pain. I liked having a goal to work towards. I liked that like I could do something and not be good at first, but then like work towards getting better. And so then my third marathon was 2008 in Milwaukee. I ran my hometown Milwaukee marathon, and like I trained, like I had like a real, I never worked with a coach early on, which is like my one thing that I was like, darn it, I wish I would have known that like amateur runners could work with a coach. So I wonder how
Yeah.
fast I could have been. But then I ran a 3:37, and that was enough to get me into Boston.
Hell
But
yes.
Boston back then, guys, was so like it was obviously the pinnacle of all races, but like you needed as a female under 35, so 18 to 34, which I was at the time. I was 31. You could run a 3:40:59. You could all you had to do was finish with 340 being your first part of your time, and you got in. And then it
Wow.
got a little competitive that year. They actually I think some people didn't get in at like 59. They had to get like 57 or something. And so they dropped it the next time to you had to get in you had to be in by 340 exactly or less. But there was no cutoff time. And it was 340 for a long time. So every time I had qualified through my fast, but then they started dropping and then I kept getting older, but my time never got that slower. So every time I would age up, I would keep qualifying, but I would have to keep qualifying at a 340 no matter how old I was.
Gotcha.
So my standing PR, I've qualified for 5 Bostons. I've run in 5, but one I didn't finish because this is the On the Runs podcast. We can talk about that.
Yep.
My PR was not in Boston, but my PR was a 326 something, like 326.19 maybe.
That's
Pretty
incredible.
fast.
Yeah.
I mean, yes, but now I look at what so many women are running and I'm like, oh, well, could I have been a 320 runner? Could I have been a 315 runner? Like if I would have known about eating.
But they're
That's
in
really good, though, on your
carbon-plated
own.
shoes now, and we know
Yeah,
all the
I
science
know.
behind the gels and everything. Like, we didn't have that in 2008.
We did not.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so my PR was 2015. No, 2014. So I guess, yeah, that was a long time ago. Like I ate gels, but I ate maybe like 3 gels in that thing. I think I ate one every 5 or 10, 7 miles. Like who does that? Like that's not enough. It's not enough food. Like no wonder I was always like, how do I, all I have to do is run a little and I lose so much weight. It's like, no, because you're not eating enough, you psychopath. Now I
True.
know. Now
Yeah.
I know that you need fuel. You need to have fuel in your body to run fast. But there is this a part of me that's like, gosh darn it, what could I have accomplished?
I think you did smashingly just doing it on your own, especially with not having the fueling strategy that you would these days and not having a coach. I think you knocked it out of the park. That's an incredible
guys.
time. And yeah, you owned it.
Well,
Now-
I had to run that race in Sugarloaf because I wasn't able to finish the Boston Marathon.
Sugarloaf, Maine.
I did Sugarloaf, Maine. I've done it twice. I've run 2 BQs. I think it's one of the best
Isn't that
races.
a really hard course? Like we're talking hills on hills on hills.
So it is hilly. I have 3 sub 30 times. I have a 328 from Philly, which is my first sub 330. I know now people are like, oh, sub 3. Like back in the day, it was cool to run a sub 330. Back in my day, that's a hilly course. I ran a 329 in Milwaukee, which is kind of a rolling, but it's kind of like you descend down towards the lake.
Gotcha.
And Sugarloaf is hilly, but it's the first 10 miles can be pretty brutal, and there's just really long uphill. But then you kind of come down, you lose around 800. It's not quite as much that you lose at a Revel racing course, where it's designed to be really fast down, because there is still some rolling that takes it away, but you do sort of descend down the mountain. So for me, running on a super flat course just doesn't change my muscle use enough.
Yeah.
So I've actually always just done better on some sort of rolling course. So I ran a 326 as my PR, and then in 2019, when I was 42, I ran a 335 and change there, which was
That's
enough at the
awesome.
time to get me into the 2020 Boston. It was not enough to get me into the 2021, but thank you, BAA, for helping a sister out.
There you go.
Throwing a sister a
Oh
bone.
my gosh.
You mentioned the flat course versus a hilly. I'm with you. I love the hilly. I've done a couple Ironmans, and then I've crewed many Ironmans. And I remember my buddy Scott did Cozumel, and he had to ride and pedal the entire time on this flat island for 112 miles.
I would want to do that.
Right. Where I did Mount Tremblant. It's hilly, but I got, climb up the hill, relax on the
Relief.
downhill, and it kept changing. And I got to use different muscles. And the same is for running.
So I've done a half Ironman. I did the half Ironman in Wisconsin. I mean, do we want hilly for the bike or do we want rolling? I would
Rolling.
prefer rolling
Yes.
because hilly is like the hills at the Wisconsin were relentless.
Oof.
And the climbs were long and they weren't enough like to me, but I like rolling.
There is Motrin Blanc's very rolling, but they have one hill where, at mile 105, I was going so slow, my watch paused.
Oh my God, stop. Put it up mile 105. That's awful.
And I thought I was going to go under 13 hours, but I finished in 12 hours, 59 minutes, 4 seconds. But really, my watch said no, my official time, because my watch pause was 13 hours and 2 seconds.
No, that is such a gut punch.
Yeah, but
well,
I can laugh about it now.
I would still maybe like to do a full Ironman.
Yeah, I hear Lake Placid is awesome. Madison
Yeah,
has
but
a
that's
good one.
hard.
Which one would you
Lake
have in mind
Placid
if
is
you had to do a
hard.
full one?
I don't know which one's gonna be nothing with an ocean. I'm not swimming in an ocean.
I'm the last one to ask.
I hear Chattanooga is great because it's a downhill river swim.
So that's what I'm talking, where you get the current.
Right.
That
and it's
pushes
rolling hills. I've heard that one's good.
Chattanooga, Tennessee.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I would be down.
I'll
I don't
crew
know
for
when I'm
you.
going to do this. I don't know when I would try to do this. I said I had a panic attack before my half Ironman.
Oh no.
Well, maybe Erica, you don't decide you're going to do triathlons and then jump right into a half Ironman. I don't know when you're high anxiety.
I would need a baby step in there somewhere.
Maybe you don't do one sprint and then be like, no, I can totally do half Ironman. How hard could this be? And then be super panicked about everything because you don't really even though you trained really hard and you did everything you were supposed to do, you pooped the whole night before because you were so nervous and then you were highly dehydrated when you started. Maybe that's not the best plan.
Oh no.
Yeah. I think I need to get a little more comfortable with the rhythm of triathlons before I try another distance triathlon.
There you go. Especially the big show that is a ridiculous amount of miles. What is it? 140 point?
It's
140.6 total.
140.6.
Yeah.
I knew it was something like that.
Yeah, because it's 70.3 and 140.6. Yeah.
If you do one in Canada, though, you don't even think about it because everything's in kilometers. And you just stop doing math at one point.
Yeah, I would be screwed.
Yeah.
I would be screwed.
So you mentioned 5 Bostons, finished 4. One thing I love to always hear is someone's first marathon story. But for Boston Weeks, I want to hear about your first Boston Marathon experience. Were you still in Pittsburgh at the time? I don't think you were working here yet. What was that whole first experience like? Were you even familiar with the city or with the vibe of everything going on?
No, so my first Boston was 2010. And it's so crazy. It's so different. So I qualified with that 2008 and it was a October marathon. So it was too late. Actually, it wouldn't have been too late to do it in 2009 because back then you didn't have to sign up on September on your day, because in 2009, when I went to sign up for my 2010 Boston, I was I will never forget this. I was in a press box covering the Phillies in their World Series lead up. So I was at a playoff series, and I was like, oh crap, I forgot to sign up for Boston. And so I went and signed up and I got in. There was no cutoff.
Wow. Those were the days.
Those were the days. I was October something, and I was like, oh shoot, I gotta sign up for this race, I guess. And I was fine, and I got in. So I ran 2010. It was so chill. You still had to qualify, but it was so chill.
Mm-hmm.
And I came out, and I was living. I don't know if I was living. I was still working for MLB Network. So I was I think I was either living still in New York at that time, or I was splitting time, I think, between Milwaukee and New York by that point. Because I was on the road so much for work. And so my mom, my dad, and my friend Lisa, my college roommate, came out to watch. And I trained a lot in New York. And at the time I was volunteering with Achilles Track Club. It was like a way for me to like find a community in New York City, which is like so big and overwhelming. And
Yeah.
I was training with a guy by the name of Suleiman, who was blind, and they needed somebody, the group, that could steadily and easily run an 8-minute pace. And I was like, oh, I can do that. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can run with them. And so I would run tethered to him. And he was so awesome. He guys, it was amazing to run with someone who can't see, because we'd be running through Central Park and he'd be like, "Hey, I'm thirsty. There's gonna be a water fountain up on the left." And I'm like, What?
How do you know
He
that? That's cool.
knew by the smells and the topography of like where like the hills were and like downhills and uphills. He knew exactly where things were. So there's a
Wow,
reason I'm
that's
telling you this
incredible.
story.
Yeah.
So I go and I train for Boston. And I think it was like kind of a warm-ish day, not like super warm, but like one of those days that like is like maybe the high, like in the low 60s, a little warmer than you want it to be. And I feel great. I've had a great training cycle. I'm like, eating my 2 gels, drinking my water, no Gatorade. So why
Yep.
would I have Gatorade? Um, and I like a little over halfway, I see Suleiman, and I come up behind him and I'm like, Suleiman. And he recognized my voice. And he's like, Tren, hey, how are you? And I'm like, I'm great. I'm like, how you feeling? He's like, I'm good. I'm like, I'm feeling good too. And he goes, you're going a little fast, kid. You might want to slow down. I don't want you to bonk at the end. I was like, Suleiman, I feel great. And then I bonked.
He knows.
He
He just
knew.
knows.
He knew. He had like he was so in tune to his. I mean, and at that, in fairness, he was he was probably 10 years older than me, so he was probably in his early 40s. So it'd be like, you learn a lot in that time in
Yeah.
running. Um, so that was my first. I don't even remember what my finish time was, but it just was awesome. It was so, and we ate it. I remember I asked, because I was working, not to like name drop, but I was like working in baseball a lot, and I saw we'd see Peter Gammons all the time, and Peter's like, "Oh, you have to eat at what is the steak place? It's like it's not Grill 23, because that I remember, because we go to it. That's one of our favorites. It's like, oh,
The
it's
only
not
ones I can think of is like Capitol
Davio's.
Grill. Oh, I don't know.
Is Davio's a steakhouse, Sean? Yes. I think it was Davio's. And he told me, and there's a couple of them. And
Mhm.
Peter's like, you have to eat at Davio's. So like, I took my mom and my dad and my friend out to Davio's. Like, you guys came to, working at MLB Network. I'm gonna pay for everybody's dinner. It was awesome. And I wore my medal out, and it was so cool. And then I was like, not hungry, because I just ran a marathon. I'm like, why did I come to
Mhm.
like the nicest restaurant in Boston and I can't even like stomach my steak and my
I've
foie
been there.
gras so that was my first Boston, and it was awesome. And my second Boston was the year it was 87 degrees.
Oh, wow. What a swing. That is like a complete different
So,
story.
and I had trained and at that point I was living in Milwaukee. I hadn't moved here yet. I would end up, I didn't even know I was going to audition here. I ended up auditioning here like a month after Boston, and moved here in September of 2012. But I ran in April of 2012, and it was like freezing all winter in Wisconsin. And then all of a sudden in March, it got super hot. And it was such a cold, but it was such a fun race, because like 2 miles in, my training partner and I, my friend Stephanie, who I'm still friends with, we were like, we are not going to be able to run what we want to run. It's just too warm.
Mhm.
And so we ate like popsicles and ran through sprinklers and talked to people and high-fived kids. And like, I think we both ran. She ended up withstanding the heat a little bit better than me. I think she finished in like 4:02, and I think I ran like a 4:04 or something. So for us at the time, it wasn't fast at all, but like in 87-degree heat, like now I can run like a 6-hour marathon in 87-degree heat. But it was such a fun, because there were so many people out, and everybody was just drunk and having fun, and it was warm. And like Boston College was crazier than usual, or BC and BU, like everything was crazier than usual. And it was like super fun. It was really awesome.
Oh, man. That totally is the way like, we like to say Boston's supposed to be the victory lap. I know Eric loves to say that too.
Yeah.
But you guys had fun during it. You did it safe. You did it the safe way, instead of just trying to, we're going to still run this, and then totally like pass
End up
out
in a
from
med
heat
tent.
stroke. Like, yeah, you
Yeah.
don't want to do that. So you guys, you made the most of it with the popsicles and the sprinklers, like giving the high fives. That's how we like to see Boston
Yeah.
done.
Definitely one of my most fun Bostons.
I
Excellent.
feel like the crowds are even more like amped up
Oh, the
when the weather's
hotter the
that nice.
day,
Oh,
they get
yeah.
unruly.
I mean, listen, as a spectator, and I see that temperature climb up to like 68, I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
But then I'm like, I feel so bad because, and like, it cracks me up when people look at the forecast, like people who don't run endurance races, and they're like, oh my God, it's a high 65. That's like perfect running weather. And I was like, no, it's not. That's like the worst. I'm like, anything over 52 is horrible.
Yeah, I hear you. I ran New York this past year, and I feel like it was over 60. I remember running across the
Yes.
bridge, and I don't use sunscreen often. I need to, but I loved
You
it.
should,
I
Eric,
know,
you have to use
I know,
sunscreen.
I know. I'm
Especially
gonna
There's no
when
start.
it's
hair.
I'm
There's
gonna start
nothing.
taking care
There's
of my beautiful head of hair. I know, but it was this perfect day, and it was just maybe a tad too warm for some people. But I was like, it's right in the middle, and that weather when it gets warm in Boston for us spectating at Mount 19.2, we have the most fun time. But then
so
there's
fun.
times Erica has the poster behind her. She ran in 2018.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Oh
the terrible
The
no.
worst.
and an
I
ongoing
worked
story
that
for
race.
her.
Did
Oh, no
you?
way.
So you were just standing around in it. I hope you were at least like covered by something, but oh my gosh, it was rough for
I
the
mean, that's the
runners.
year Des won. And I was
Yep.
I was the sideline reporter for NBC because NBC still had it. And so I got to interview her as she crossed the finish line.
I love that.
But you can barely see my face because I have a hat on and I have a windbreaker pulled up over my head. And I'm like in like rain pants and Des, she's so tiny.
Mhm.
And she was even tinier back then because she was running so much. Like she just looks like she's like shaking cold. But she did. I wonder. She was so great, so gracious, and it was like again is like top 5 of like
What
things
a
that are
moment.
recovered.
Oh my
Yeah, it's a very
gosh.
cool moment.
That
Yep,
must have
she
been
was
fun.
she was like the
Yeah.
inspiration that helped me finish that stupid race. It
God,
was
that race
so
was
hard that year.
stupid.
Mhm.
That was
Erica has
stupid.
Erica has this ongoing, like, I want redemption. I want one more because she didn't get those crowds in that year. Because
Yeah, I
everyone's
can
like, it
see
was
why you'd want to do it again.
they
Yep,
still
and
say
that
today it was one of the worst weathers ever for the Boston Marathon.
it was rough. And we were talking earlier about how you've had to fundraise before and how much of a toll that takes. That was my year. So I fundraised like over $10,000 to run that. So I did everything I could to just push through and finish, but it just wasn't the same as like
No.
as a 68-degree day when people are out in full force. So
Even a 55 and sunny day.
oh yeah.
Like even where it's like cool. Like last year was kind of I feel like last year's weather could be sneaky warm because it was sunny,
Yes.
but there were still people who had really good days because it wasn't humid. There
Right.
wasn't like a terrible wind. And it was like, I think the high only was about 55, 57.
Yep.
So if you were in one of the earlier waves, like you were okay. Like a day like that, people still come out because it's not uncomfortable. But like, and I
Exactly.
get it. Nobody wants who wants to stand out and watch people run by when it's freezing cold, unless you've
Miserable.
been there and you know how important it is to have people
Yeah.
out there. Then it's,
Mhm.
then you try to be there rain or shine.
Yeah.
You know what makes it hard is that for the runners, when you have that warm day, you've been training all winter.
Oh, I
Like
know.
you've been training
nobody's ready
inside or
for
in the
it.
terrible. There's no warm days until about 2-3 weeks before the race. Where New York, for me, it was a little warm, but I've been training all summer in the heat, so
All
I'm a little more
summer.
like, this is nice. Boston, that's hard, and it's even harder, I think, on the runners when you got a warm day.
But the difference is, it's like when you balance like what you're giving up to train. Like for me, I never mind training in the winter because there's not a lot going on anyway. I'm not missing out
True.
on a lot in the winter. And I don't mind. So last winter I had to train for this MS run across Wisconsin. And like it wasn't that terrible of a winter. So while I had to run outside a lot and I would run outside when other people would go inside, it was never we never got like 2 feet of snow. It was never really like so bad that whereas I'd rather like train through that than train through
Mhm.
like 100-degree weather all summer long and have to get up like so early in the morning to beat the heat.
Mm.
So it's like, and in the summer when you train all summer long for a fall marathon, like we live in the northern hemisphere and in the northeast. So everything that people do that's fun happens between like April or May and October. And that's like your whole training window. And it's like I hate
Yeah.
just it's kind of gets to a point it's like, well, how much do I want to give up?
I hear
Like,
You
you.
have a point.
I'd rather give it up in the winter.
That's very fair.
We were just talking. You got to do a little crosstalk with Chris and Elena from the BAA, and I was saying I want to run Boston one day, not yet. I'm a big skier. I ski all winter long. I'll run all summer. I like do that to avoid the burnout. Where a
Yeah.
lot of runners, like yourself, enjoy that beach time or the summertime up here because it's nice if you're not like doing what I'm doing. I see that. I see both sides. That's a valid point. You also mentioned you ran across the state of Wisconsin for MS last summer. I was following along on this journey. It was a lot of fun. We'll get back to Boston later, but tell us a little bit about this. This wasn't a one-day thing. This was like
No.
something you trained. You built your miles up every week from like 20 to 30 to 70 to 100 miles a week training to run, I think, 7 straight days across the state of Wisconsin.
6. I ran 161 miles over 6 days. So there's a foundation called MS Run the US, and so it actually started. They're on segment 2 right now. So it is a relay run, not a race, a relay run across America to benefit MS and MS charities. And so each segment, there are 21 segments. Each segment is anywhere between, I think the shortest segment is 135 miles and the longest is 220.
Wow.
That one's a beast because you're basically running like through the desert. And the reason it's so long is because there's no natural stopping point. Like it's so desolate on the run that like just to have a place where you could have someone fly in or drive in to like basically grab the baton. It's
I
like
see.
logistically a nightmare. And so my aunt was diagnosed with MS when I was little. I was probably 4 or 5 years old. And she passed away when I was a freshman in college. It was a really aggressive form of MS. Like she was very quickly, like physically and mentally affected by it. And I'd always wanted to do something to honor her, but I just didn't really know what or when or how. And then I became friends when I was living in Milwaukee in the early 2000s after college. I became friends with this girl, Ashley. Her name's Ashley Schneider now. She's married. And at the time, her name was Ashley Cumlin, and her mom had MS. And she decided one day that she was going to run across America on her own to benefit
wow.
MS. And so she ran across America, 3,260 miles by herself, living in an RV with her. Well, he was her fiance. He ended up not being her fiance after running 3,260 miles across
That
the
tests the
US.
relationship. Yeah.
That test of relationship did
Oh,
not
boy.
survive. She actually wrote a book about it called The Long Run Home. It's a fabulous running book. Fabulous. I did not think I was going to pitch this book on here, but it's a fabulous running book.
Erica's writing it down
I
now.
love books and running
Yeah.
books. And this is right up my alley.
Yeah, it's great. And she wanted to raise $500,000, but she was like 23 years old at the time. And when you're 23 years old and you're running across the country and you're like trying to run these miles and there's like social media wasn't really a thing back then.
Yeah.
And you're trying to and you have no experience with media or marketing or anything else. I think she ended up raising like $50,000 or $60,000, but she felt like she had failed. But along the way, she met people who were like, oh, I would do this, but I couldn't take a whole summer off and run, but I would run a segment. And
Yeah.
so while she was running, she came up with the idea to make it into a relay run. So each 21 people, you have to raise a minimum of $10,000 and then you train and run your miles. And then you're kind of part of this like team. I applied and I knew Ashley and Ashley knew me. So I knew I was going to get accepted.
Excellent. You got the in.
I got the in. And so last year it was the 30th anniversary, 2025 was, of my aunt passing away. And so I asked to run Wisconsin so that I could run back to her where she was, where she was born and raised. And we ended up like finishing like not far from where like my mom and my Aunt Cindy and Aunt Sandy grew up. And my mom was there, and my Aunt Cindy, and my sister, and my brother, and like my whole family, and my husband was with me for most of the time.
Mhm.
And even he ran some miles with me, and it just was awesome. It was just a great experience. It was hard. I mean, it's really it's I was running 6 days a week last year. From basically I started training I did like a 10-week build up. So I started with like 4 days a week running, and I went up to 5 days a week. And so by the time I got into like the brunt of the training, which was basically like training for a marathon, I think they had us doing it over like 16 or 18 weeks of like the hardest part of the running.
Mhm.
I mean, I was already at closing in on 40 miles a week, which for me is like a lot of mileage. Like I've never been a super high mileage runner, but I incorporated in it. I figured out pretty early on, especially after talking to a woman who ran the same segment last year, and she's like a physio, and she was saying she did a run walk method. And she's like, the
Okay.
reason I did that is because it helps with the lactic acid buildup. And she's like, I wouldn't really she's like, I kind of ran faster every day, and like I wasn't super sore when I woke up in the morning. And I was like, okay, we'll see if that really works, but I'll try.
Yep.
And she was right. So I did a run on all of my my longest runs. There were some days where like if I only had like 7 miles or 10 miles or something, I would just run the whole time. But on all of my long runs, I would run 0.3 miles and then walk 0.1, run 0.3, walk 0.1. And I did that for the whole 6 days. And I ran, and then every day, this was the other tip she gave me that was unbelievable. Every day, I would end my day with a 1 mile walk. So, one, I was getting one extra mile,
Yep.
but I was flushing that lactic acid out through my legs. So, total mileage, I did 31, 31, 20. Let's see, 31, 31, 28, 28. 31, 31, 30, 28, 28, 12. That's how that was the breakdown of it. Sorry. I didn't like think about that. I was supposed to do 31, 31, 30, 30, 28, 27, 12 or something in there.
Yep.
But we had like a rainstorm one morning that I had to start late. So I only ended up getting 28 miles in.
Gotcha.
But that's how I did the breakdown, and I did it all, and I got faster. Like my first day was my slowest. Like my first day, and the first 2 days, everyone's like, "Oh, you ran across Wisconsin. It's the Midwest. It's so flat." No, it
No.
was. I gained 3,700 feet of elevation over
I was
2
gonna say, the
days.
video didn't look flat.
Wow.
It was not flat at all, and everything was open, blazing hot sun.
Mm.
So the first day was really slow. Like I just took my time, and I pooped in the woods because I really had to go, and there was nowhere else to go.
You are an
Shit
ultra
happens.
runner. All of this just screams
Shit
ultra
happens.
runner to me.
I know.
Pooping in the
I know. And
woods, you're doing the distance, and you're doing the run walk method. That is like straight up how we ultra runners do it.
And also, what a
know.
great tip to just walk a mile after a run.
Great recovery.
And it
Mhm.
honestly, so the first night I was so sore, and I went to bed. And so I worked with do you know Emily Saul? Have you ever talked to Emily Saul? She's
Mm-mm.
Not yet.
she's a so you know who she is.
Not well enough, but I'm going to learn.
So Emily Saul is she's a sports psychologist, and she works primarily, she's a runner. So she works with a lot of runners, a lot of high level runners and regular runners like me. And so my coach at the time worked with her. And after my panic attack at the half Ironman, I was like, I can't have this happen again. And so I worked with her. We worked through some coping mechanisms and
Mhm.
whatnot, some tools. And so after night one, I went to bed and my legs hurt so badly. And I was like, how am I supposed to do this again tomorrow? And I'm laying in bed, and I went to bed early, and I woke up like in a straight panic at like 9:15 p.m. because I went to bed at like 7.
Mhm.
Um, and my stomach started acting up, and I was panicking. And then I just did use the tools she gave me, the visualization, the counting, the body scanning, and I fell back asleep, and I woke up the next morning and I wasn't sore at all. And I like went out and I had a better run than I did the day before. And then the next day I went out and ran faster than I did the day before that. By the time I got to my last 12 miles on my last day, my last mile and a half, I was averaging about an 8:30. And I had run 160. Like it was unbelievable. So the run walk method, like I tell people all the time, I mean, even when I was running a 3:26, I always walked through my water stops. Always. I never run through a water stop because you can't consume it. You cannot actually
Right.
drink the fluid if you don't stop and allow yourself to drink
Yes.
the fluid or eat the gel. And people are always so worried about like those couple of seconds, but not realizing that that tiny, tiny little break gives your body just enough of, as long as you don't stop, keep walking, but the movement itself keeps you going forward. And then it allows like your body just to reset a little bit. At least for me, it always did.
You're
And
speaking
keep
truths. You
going
really are. Because it just lets your muscles relax for a minute and then you can pick right back up again. And
Yeah.
sometimes you just go faster. Like
faster.
it's such a great, plus it also breaks up a race. So it
Yes.
makes you look forward to it and you're like, oh,
Right.
I only have a mile. And so it
Yep.
kind of mentally helps you out there too.
I broke up the way I started looking at the 30 plus the 30-mile days. I was like, okay, it's 30 miles. I have 10 5Ks. I do like the first day I didn't think of it that way. And then I was like,
Yeah.
how do I break this up? Like, this is hard. This is long.
It's got to be some chapters in there.
Yeah. So I broke up. I was like, okay, I've got 10 5Ks. Like I could do 10 5Ks. It just, whatever. It was just a mind game.
Yeah.
Right.
It sounds so much better than 31 miles. Like
Right, it
31
does
is such
sound
a
way
big number.
big number. Yeah, exactly. But if you're like, oh, I just got to run 3 miles 10 times, anybody can do that.
Yep. However you can trick your brain, it helps.
Yeah.
You know, before the end of this, I'm going to ask you for a hot take, but my favorite hot take so far this year, not to play favorites, was Kayla, who said, real runners walk. And I thought that was so true. And we're talking about it right now. And it just, it works for everyone. The Galloway method for one of them, right? And then you with the tip there, walk a mile after the run. And it was, I'm going to do that now. I'm going to be like, Erica, we're extending our loop. We're going to go a little longer, so we walk.
I always do.
Now, this run across Wisconsin, you had a team. They followed you around in a car. Like Sean was there. You had others there, crew who ran with you. Talk a little bit about what happened behind the scenes with the team. They're like feeding you, helping you, encouraging you. Like, what was that whole part like outside of your run?
Yeah, it was great. So they have Shannon was our she was kind of like our resident runner, nutritionist, PT type person. And she was the main person that I worked with. And she would drive the car most days. And like, she was so brilliant. Like, I could start coming up to the car and she'd look at me and she'd like look at my hands. She'd be like, you need potassium, you need salt, you need this. I want you to eat I want you to eat a bobo. I want you to eat fruit. And it's funny because when I was training, I worked with Featherstone Nutrition, Megan Featherstone. It was who I worked with as a nutritionist. She's awesome. Like, she's helped me so much learning just about how important it is to like fuel your body through these endurance races. That we were training with like, okay, what's easy to have, what's easy to eat, what's easily digestible. And it was like a lot of like carbs and candy. Because like I couldn't carry like raspberries with me running, like they'd smush in my pocket. But when I actually got to the run, it was so hot that I mostly ate fruit. I ate a ton of watermelon and strawberries and blueberries and raspberries, oranges. And then like usually in the morning, Shannon, like, but that was the other nice thing about this. Like, all I had to carry on me, all I would carry with was I used a Solomon running vest, and I would put electrolytes in both little pockets. I wouldn't even have a big bladder in because the bladder would like weigh so much.
Yeah.
So I just would have that. And then like my snacks, I didn't really have to carry with me. I would get to the car and I would eat, like, if I wanted something salty, I'd have some chips. But like, I was funny because like when I was like eating like Pop-Tarts when I was running. Like, and people would be looking at me on the Charles River, like, what is this girl doing? She's running like an 11-minute pace eating a Pop-Tart. I felt like I should be wearing like a sign that was like, I'm training for an ultra marathon. Where I need to be able to eat a Pop-Tart. I need to be able to eat a Pop-Tart and Sun Chips while I'm running. Yeah, so then I would eat like something bigger in the middle of the day. And then like towards the end, it just was nice to not have to think about it, to have somebody else who was there. And then we had a photographer, David, and he would also sometimes like man the car with Sean, but there was always somebody there. Like, and that, it was so nice for them to handle. And I loaded the map into my watch, into my Garmin. So like there were a couple times where I was running and I was like, I'd look down, I was like, oh shit, I totally should have turned left there.
Oh,
so
no.
backtrack a little this way. But it was great. It's just like, it's a great support system. I don't know. I kind of liked running sometimes. Like my favorite time would to be running really early in the morning before the sun was like fully up and it was kind of cool. And I was by myself because I was in Wisconsin. I had a lot of people join me for the runs. I had
Mhm.
lots of company, which was also awesome and super helpful, especially when they met me like 2 hours into the run. Cause then for the
Right.
last 3 or 4 hours, I'd have somebody with me, but I kind of liked those early morning, like quiet miles. I'd,
Yeah.
listen to a book or I would listen to some music or I would listen to nothing and just like take it in. And there was only like one or two times where somebody would come like speeding down the highway and I was like, hi, I'm here. And
Yeah.
Oh.
like I'd kind of hold my ground and they'd be like, okay, don't be stupid, like moving out of the shoulder a little bit. But no, it was an awesome experience. I would highly recommend it to anyone who is a distance runner, and you can do it. Like the mileage seems really overwhelming, but it's totally doable.
Well, I think you trained the right way, and you
Yeah.
definitely fueled yourself right. How often would your van like meet you? Like how far ahead would it leapfrog you?
So like usually I would have him meet me every 3 miles. So like
Oh, that's
Feathers and I
great.
sort of worked
So
out that
there's your
like
your 10Ks
every
basically,
yeah, like
or
basically
5Ks, 5Ks.
every and sometimes they'd meet me a little earlier, a little bit later, but I try to do it like every 30 minutes. So every like 2.8 to 3.2 miles, like somewhere in there.
Yeah.
And that way I just knew that like one, again, I could break up the run. And two, I would make sure to be eating. And like, because otherwise, sometimes when you run by yourself, like you just get into the zone where like, I'm not hungry, it's fine. And then the next thing
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're like, burnt.
It's so easy
Um,
to bonk.
yeah, it's so easy to bonk. Yeah, I also didn't know that sometimes you can have too much salt and that when you'll go to the bathroom too much when you
Oh
have too much
no.
salt.
It's
Oh
Did
true.
you know that?
Yeah.
no.
Yep. Experienced it.
And one day we caught it early, which is great because it can be like really be a problem.
Oh
Where you're
no.
like over
Yeah.
oh like you need like a little bit more water and maybe like a little less like super salty hydration,
Hmm.
where you're like having to go too much. And I was like, oh well, that's something I'm new and exciting I discovered.
The
But no, I
joys
didn't
of
get sick
joys
on
of
it. I
ultra
didn't.
running.
I know. I was real proud of myself when I pooped in the woods though. Just held on to a tree, went way back, just let it rip.
Training's fun because you can test things and you can kind of figure out what you know is too much and what's not enough. And my longest training run this year, 20 miler, I was crushing it. And then I was like, do I have one more water or one more of these salt sticks, right?
Oh yeah.
I did the salt stick. And I was
Mhm.
lucky on the Londonderry Rail Trail, there's the park and ride with the bathroom there because it was a nice
Oh,
Oh
bathroom.
that's right.
no.
You chronicled
So
it in our group chat.
I did. Yes, I
so
chronicled the whole thing.
Element a sponsor of yours?
No,
No.
it just happens to be on my desk right now. I
Okay.
got a
But
sample
I
pack.
wanted to be careful then when I said so Element. I actually use Scratch high salt
Yes. I
and
love
Mortal high
Scratch.
salt. Scratch and Mortal don't there's something about and I love the Element when I'm like a hot, sunny
Yes.
summer run. I love the sparkling waters that they do like after to kind of replenish myself. But when I take them when I run there or cycle, I noticed it first when I went cycling and when I switched to Mortal Salty instead, they really upset my
Oh
stomach.
no.
Well, that
Yeah,
But
one's
at
which is a
least you
easy.
bummer because
figured it out.
yeah.
Not gonna
And so the
surprise you.
first day, the day that I had to poop in the woods on the MS run, she didn't have my scratch. She couldn't find my mortals or my scratch.
Oh.
And so I had an element and I was like, so I was like, well, here we go.
Mm-hmm.
Middle of
It's
nowhere.
all part of the ride.
Yeah.
It's all part of the ride. I told my niece that did that and she was like, that's gross, Auntie T. And I was like, or it's awesome.
We
That's
all
how this
have those
podcast was
stories.
born.
Seriously. It's usually Eric pooping in the woods though.
It's always me pooping in the
mean,
woods. And that's why
it happens.
that's
It
why I
does.
got the butt wipes now. They're behind me
Yep.
somewhere. Not a sponsor,
It
but we love
happens.
them.
I mean, it doesn't happen often, but I mean, going back, if we circle back to Boston, I mean, the reason I have qualified for five but only run four is because I was sick in 2014 and I didn't like I kind of felt like I had something coming on. Like I didn't feel great over the weekend. I was just loading up on electrolytes and trying to like keep my body as healthy as I could. And then on the morning of November 2014, it was the year after the bombing.
Yeah.
And so everybody was super obviously like into it. Everyone wanted to be out there and it was warm. And that was the one year that I hadn't qualified the year before. I qualified for 2013, but couldn't run because I had hurt my hamstring,
Mhm.
and I couldn't carry it over. So I ran for charity. I ran for Horizons for Homeless Children in 2014. So I was with the charity runners, and it was so warm. And I went out for a run, and like my stomach kind of wasn't great in the morning, and I kind of went to the bathroom more than the usual. But I was like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
just nervous. I trained really hard for this. I did this thing with Runner's World where they were like chronicling me running, and I was like, okay, it's gonna be fine. Go to the bathroom again before the race. Must have gone like 4 times before the race even started. And so then I start running, and I'm like, yeah, I don't feel great, but it'll be fine. It's gonna be fine. I get to Wellesley, guys, and I'm coming down through the Wellesley Scream Tunnel, and I am
Mhm.
like, I'm gonna shit my pants.
Oh
I'm like, I know
no.
it. I'm not gonna be able to make it. I'm not gonna make it.
Oh
I was like,
no.
I don't know. And I'm gonna be like, I have been working here for 1 year, not even, and I'm gonna poop my pants in Wellesley. It is the nicest town on this route. And it's the
Oh no.
one, like, not somewhere where there's trees where I can hide. Nope. I'm in like right in downtown Wellesley where there's all these nice, wealthy people lunching. I
Oh
am
no.
just gonna explode. But I found a bathroom. It's the
Uh-huh.
grossest bathroom I've ever been in. And I went. And then I was like, okay, stupid me is like, great. I just exploded in the bathroom. I'll be fine. Let's
Yep.
keep going, everybody. So I'm running. And all of a sudden, I'm running by the Newton Wellesley Hospital. And I hear this dad go, ma'am, ma'am, are you okay? You're kind of swerving. And I was so dehydrated
Oh
and
no.
so sick that I was like swerving and weaving, and like I kind of couldn't see. And so this little girl runs out of the water. She goes, my dad thinks maybe you should sit down and have a water. And I was like, I think maybe your dad's right.
Oh my
So
god.
I sit down crying. I'm sobbing, crying. Like so many friends were on the course, and so a medic came over, and a medic's like, let's go over to the tent. You're not going to be able to run what you wanted, but we'll be able to probably give you some fluids and get you back out there, but we have to take your vitals. And I was
Okay.
like,
Yeah.
okay, great. So they take my vitals, and they go, I'm sorry, Trenni, tell you this. You need to go to the hospital immediately. You are severely dehydrated. Like, and I always forget. I think it's that my blood pressure was super high and my heart rate was super low,
Ooh.
or vice versa. Whatever it was, whatever is a signal of dehydration. I obviously do not work in medicine despite watching The Pit. So
Great
I don't know what it
show.
was. Great show.
We're deep into it right now.
It's so good. I just started season 2. And so I can see, you guys, I can see Newton Wellesley Hospital. And I'm like, okay, I'll just walk myself there. They're like, I'm sorry. We have to
Oh,
put
they
you in
had
the
to take
ambulance.
you.
No.
Oh no.
So I had to go 2 blocks in an ambulance
$10,000
to the
ambulance
hospital.
ride, probably.
$10,000. I don't even know
Oh,
what it
God.
cost. I think I had pretty good insurance. I think it actually didn't like bankrupt me.
Oh god, no.
And then I had to be hooked up to I had to get 2 bags of fluids and IVs. And the woman's like, I'm sorry, there's like a norovirus going around.
No.
And I don't think it was now that I've had norovirus, I don't think it was norovirus, because then I would have been like violently vomiting
Okay.
also.
Okay.
And that wasn't an issue. I think I just had like a stomach bug.
Right.
And then like the heat and the exhaustion and the
It all just
flu like symptoms, it
compounds.
all just compounded and came together. But moral of the story is 6 weeks later, I went to Sugarloaf and ran a 3:26. So even if your first race doesn't work out, maybe the next one,
There
but don't
you
run
go.
the whole thing. If you don't feel good, just bail out at like 17 or 18 like I did, and then go run another one 6 weeks later. Don't run a whole one and then try to go run a whole nother one 6
Mhm.
weeks later. Like, that's just stupid. I know so many people would do that. And I'm like, why?
What
What a
a
waste.
what a tough day though, especially when you put in
Oh,
all
I
that
was
work to raise money
devastated.
and
I remember this so well, and now I love that I know the rest of the story. But I would spend all day long listening to sports talk radio, and you would sub in a lot. And that was your first year in the city working in Boston sports. I remember hearing you talk about it, whether you're subbing in for the morning show or the evening show, and you're like, yeah, training's going well. And then the race is going on, and I'm trying to follow and hear what they're saying on the radio. They're not saying much. Now I kind of know what happened. And you mentioned, oh my God, it's my first year in the city. I don't need people seeing me shitting my pants. Like, that had to be crossing your mind. Like, all this buildup,
Yeah.
Runner's World, you're 1 year in, you're the new girl, and now you're the new girl who shit her pants. That was going
Yeah.
through your head, and you're like, I can't
I
do
did
that.
go on Touch Her and Rich the next morning, though, and tell that entire story.
Oh, man.
I think I endeared myself to a whole bunch of people. And then I decided that the title of my autobiography will be At Least I Didn't Shit My Pants in Wellesley.
Yes.
I will read
I
that
mean,
book
if there's
too.
something, there's if I got that going for me.
That's
Yeah.
I'm glad you shared the story the day after. That's awesome.
And if there's another place, here's the correct place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't the end of everything. You not only PR'd a couple weeks later, but you ran the Boston Marathon just a few years ago. And I love your post because it wasn't your fastest, but it was your favorite. And I think it had to do with kind of what you talked about earlier, the weather and everything. Now, in a couple of days, in less than a week from when everyone hears this, there's going to be people out there running the Boston Marathon. And I would love for you to share that story of your favorite day in the Boston Marathon.
So, I mean, in fairness, this probably isn't going to happen to everyone. So I met my husband during COVID, and obviously that race was canceled, and I really wanted to run in 2021. So we met in July of 2020. And something happened, I don't know, during COVID, but all of a sudden I just like stopped. Like I just wasn't able to hit the times I was able to hit. I don't know if it was like the stress at the time, what happened, but like all of a sudden this sport that had been so easy for me stopped being easy. And I was like having to really push through training runs. And my then boyfriend knew how much I had been like struggling with like running and stuff. And we had been talking about getting married. Like we're older. I met Sean when I was 43. He was 44. So we were a little bit later in life.
Yep.
And so the Friday before the marathon, my two best friends from college were flying in to watch, my two best friends from home, on that Saturday. And on that Friday, my boyfriend at the time, is my husband now. We decided to go for pizza to our favorite place. And it was like, we were sitting outside because you could sit inside at this point, but I didn't want to get sick. So we were outside and I did not want to have a repeat, and it was kind of cold. And I was like, hey, do you want me to run home and like get you a sweatshirt? Like, you look kind of cold. He's like, no, I'm fine. It's fine. You don't need to go home. Well, that's because at home there was an engagement ring sitting on our table for me. So when we walked in after dinner, I saw this big box, and he had said that he was going to get me carbon plated shoes. And I was like, did you get me the carbon plated shoes I wanted? And then I went over and I saw that it was like a jeweler. I was like, oh no. Oh, we're doing this. Oh my God, we're going to get engaged. And I was so happy. And he's like, well, I wanted to do it because your friends were coming in town. He's like, I also knew that like this hadn't been the training cycle that you wanted it to be. He's like, I wanted this to be a good weekend for you, and I want you to have fun at the race. And so I just spent the whole race. Like I knew I wasn't going to be able to run a time that like I would be psyched about. So I just went out and I had fun. Like I talked to people and I hugged people.
Best way.
But it was the best way to run Boston. Like there's this great picture of me in Washington Square, where we usually watch the race, of like hugging my friend Sarah, and she's smiling and I'm smiling. And it was just great to be out there. And it was like, I couldn't even tell you what my time was. I don't even know.
It doesn't
was
even
like,
matter.
It doesn't even matter. But I also do empathize with people who train really hard to hit a goal time and you don't hit it. Like it's hard. It's really hard when you put everything into something and it doesn't go the way that you want it to. Like I would never discount that. Like I knew going in, I was not going to have a day that I was going to be like bragging about.
Yeah.
But instead I got to be like, hey, everybody, look at my big shiny diamond. You all thought I was too old and now I'm getting married.
You had so much fun, and I was prepared for this.
Yeah, that's the picture. That's the picture. That's me and Sarah.
I love it.
I knew this was coming, and then there's you just having
There's
fun.
me and my friend Mary. Yeah.
Yeah. And we got the team
There's
there.
my
There's
husband.
Sean.
Yep, there's Sean.
I know somewhere in here you're
Tara.
showing the ring. Somewhere, like you're on TV too, and you just had an
They
absolute
brought
blast.
That's my friend
headphones.
Shimash.
Here it is. There it is.
Oh,
Yep,
hey.
there it is.
Yeah.
That's Sean. That's his back right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You had a great day. Oh, what a day you had. I love this story when I read this, and I'm like, yep, boom, engaged. So cool. So cool. Sean did good for a
Yeah, it was
Habs
great.
fan.
Sean did great. Like you can see on my watch, guys, because I'm such a slave to numbers, and I
Oh,
really am.
yeah.
Look at my watch. I have a Band-Aid over it because I didn't want to look at it.
Oh, wow. You know what?
Because
Sometimes you just got to
I knew
disconnect.
I knew that if I could see what I was running, I would maybe feel bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'd always like prided, like I was never good at sports. The only thing I was ever even remotely sort of okay at was running. And to not be able to do what my body once was able to was really, really hard for me. Um, Again, it's not like I was winning gold medals or like winning races or anything like that, but it was something that
Still.
was
Yeah.
important to me. And so I just didn't want I didn't want anything to mess with my vibe that day. And like I would say to someone, if you're not having a great training cycle and you're not like you're throwing your goals out your window, like throw the watch out the window, put it in your, I don't know, put it somewhere that you don't look at it, put a band, like I did a jangy Band-Aid over it. Like it was
Have a
kind of
victory lap.
gross.
Your run will still count
Have a
even though
victory,
you're not
yes.
recording it. It doesn't have
Yes.
to be on Strava.
Does not have to be on Strava. It is funny now that I'm not running as much. I just kind of started like running 2 days a week again because
Mhm.
I've been really learning how to golf.
Ooh.
It's been like I go on Strava and it's like stressful for me. Like it's become like it just becomes so hyper competitive, I think. And running and like I guess what the best part about when I started running, back when like Jesus was around, um it was like people just ran to run because they enjoyed it and it was something social, and it's become so competitive.
Mm-hmm.
Like even among people who like, guess what, guys, you're not winning Boston.
Nope.
Like most like you're not Emma Bates. So
Badass. We're all
and
badasses,
that's
though.
yeah, everybody's a badass. Like just getting out there and doing it is awesome. And even I have to remind myself of that.
Yeah.
Like I say, like, I don't know if I want to run Boston again because I don't want to run if I can't qualify or blah, blah. What if I never qualify again? What if I'm not fast? Like that's dumb. Like I just like running. Like it's been really nice to just do it, just to do it. You don't even have to do races. Guess what?
Mhm.
You're still a runner if you don't race.
Absolutely.
That still makes you a runner.
Yep. If it
That's a
brings
good
you
hot
joy, just
If
do
it brings
what
you
makes
joy,
you happy.
just do it.
That's why I
Yeah.
love it. I've never been fast. I made varsity cross country once in high school. My goal
Oh,
was just
nice.
don't finish last. Like I was never the fast guy. I just loved it. And I loved more running with people. And that's how Erica and I have known each other for 25 years. Like we're old too. And we just
God,
started
25?
running together.
She's only gonna be like, she's not even 40.
20.
Old.
20. No.
20 years.
22? 20.
We met in college like as
We were, like,
freshmen back
18.
in 2004.
Like,
So
wait.
Oh my god, neither of you guys are even 40 yet?
no, I
He's
am
40.
40.
I will be in
Oh.
June. Getting there.
I know my hair makes me look younger.
It does.
I got a
It-
nice
He's a
gray
great
streak.
hair.
Yeah, I love this thing. I'm never dyeing
Oh,
my
that
hair.
is the hard thing about don't ever dye your hair,
I'm not going
actually.
to.
I mean, I have to do it because of stupid work, but I don't get Botox. I get no Botox. I
All
use
natural, baby.
frownies. I'm all natural. I use frownies. I cast my head at night, like once, like for
That's
1
kind
week
of
a
smart.
month.
I'd never think of that.
Well, I love that story. I saw that like as
Eric's
I
like,
said
can we
earlier.
just talk about running for God's sakes?
Actually, I loved how we opened up into all the sports talk, and I could talk Boston sports forever. And I have a Hab story for Sean one day if I ever meet him. But I love that story. I love the message. Just running's fun. Run with people. Have a good time. I ran the New York City Marathon last November with my sister. She lives in New York. It was her first ever marathon, and I told her after, I go, that was my slowest marathon, but that was the most fun marathon because we partied. We had a good time.
Yeah.
We took it all in. It was very fast for her. And she's now like working like you when you were starting out. How do I get faster? I'm going to hire a coach. I'm going to do this. But I'm like, we did it right because we had such a fun time. And you did it right there. I wasn't really in the loop with the engagement of when it happened, if it happened during the race but that was incredible. You had an amazing day, and I just hope everyone in a couple days has an amazing day.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing. I mean, it's just like it is supposed to be fun. And that doesn't mean it's not hard or there's not hard moments, but like there's a reason people do it over and over and over
Right.
again.
Yeah.
There's a reason that even when I'm like, yeah, I think I'm gonna take a break from running, I've never really fully taken it because I enjoy it. Like I like
Mhm.
just going out, you
And what you're
know?
doing is smart too. Like you're picking up golf. Like you don't have to just run all the time like
Still
Erica,
being
No.
active.
but
Still
you
being
can do
active. Mhm.
many things, and golfing is one of them. Like, or me, it's skiing, right?
Yep.
It's like you
Yeah.
do a
I
little
love
bit,
to
you stay active.
weightlift, you
Yeah.
There we
know,
go.
just do things that like make your body happy.
Yeah. And we have to make sure
And
that we
not
celebrate all like the 20-minute miles, the 14-minute miles, the 10-minute miles, the 6-minute miles. We got to celebrate it all because you're still getting out there and putting in the work, and it should just bring you
and
joy.
and like listen, the people who can run like 6 minute miles, like my friend Megan, who just got her first, she just worked really hard and got an OTQ.
Oh, amazing.
I know it's amazing. Like she looks like someone who could run a 5:57 pace over 26.2 miles. Like she's like 5'9" and all legs and like a six pack, right? And she had a baby like a year ago. Like that's a totally different genetic makeup than like
Mhm.
Mhm.
average person. Like there are still so few people who even finish marathons. Like the fact that you even put in the work and you do it and you get out there, like that's an accomplishment. You do not
Yes.
need to be the first, but even if you're the last person, like who cares if you're the last person?
DFL is an honor. Like that should be celebrated even more
Wait,
because you're
what's a
on
DF?
dead
Did
fucking
not.
last.
Oh, dead. I was like, is this like an official term I've never heard of?
I mean, yes, but no. I mean, but it should be celebrated. You're out there for the longest. You're still getting it done. Like no quitting.
I mean, honestly, I say this all the time. To me, the most impressive runners aren't the ones that are in wave one at the Boston Marathon
Yeah.
because you know having been, I've never a wave one person, but I was a wave two person. When you're in waves one and two, like I don't want to say running's kind of easy for you. Like running when I could go out and run like when I was running 326s, 330s, 335s, like it never felt hard because like I just was having like a genetic makeup that made that easier for me.
Mhm.
But when you are like in wave 5 and 6 and 7, and I know there are some people there who are fast and just like how to use a charity bib that year, but like
Mhm.
it's when it takes you 6 hours to run a marathon, like that takes freaking grit and
It does.
determination way more than it takes for someone who's running a 2:30. Way more. Because someone who runs a 2:30 like expects to do it and it's like almost like clockwork for
Yep.
them. Like being out there for that long is so hard on your body and it's an unbelievable accomplishment. I think
Absolutely.
that that's way more impressive than somebody who can run a 2:30
Agreed. I'm with you.
because that
Same.
person's just a freak in nature.
Yeah.
So
And time on your feet is no joke.
no joke.
Yeah.
Having done it, having done that pace for 6 days, like it is
Mhm.
no joke. It takes a lot out of you.
Yep.
We've done some pretty incredible stuff. I love that I've been able to follow, and I love that you came on, but we're not done. We have two final questions brought to you. You
Great.
mentioned sponsor earlier. We do
I
have
love a
one,
sponsor.
and they sponsor the final two questions. My Race Tats. Thank you for bringing us these final two questions. I'm going to go first, and we kind of already talked about it. This year, I'm trying to collect hot takes from everybody. Give me a good, fun hot take, serious or silly. I don't care. Does pineapple belong on pizza? The answer is no. Runners,
Mm-mm.
real runners walk. Do you have a fun hot take?
I was thinking about this because you kindly gave me these questions before. I mean, I have lots of hot takes. Some are appropriate, some are not.
Oh, we'll take
Um,
them all. We'll take the inappropriate if you want.
Whatever you want to
We
go.
have no limits on this podcast.
my hot take is that one of my hottest takes is that reality TV sucks.
Yes.
This is why we
Like,
watch heated rivalry because it's
I
not
don't
reality.
know why you sit at home and watch the Real Housewives of any county or any state or any city. Like they're not real, first of
Yeah.
all. Second of all, isn't it stressful to watch people with fake faces scream at each other?
Fake faces
Like
and
I
fake
tried to
lives.
watch the Real Lives of Mormon Wives, but like they're weird, contorted. Like I get all these deductibles into my faces, screaming at each other. Like, I don't find that, like, how is that entertaining? That's my hot take.
It's
It's
not
not
my cup of tea
entertaining.
either.
It's not my cup of tea. It's
No.
not great. None of it's a great look. I don't get
That's
it.
why I stick to
You can take your
fictional
you can
hockey
take your
players.
BravoCon and you can
Yeah.
have it because I want nothing to do with it.
Couple weeks ago, I guess some girl a day before the Bachelorette, day before it was about to drop.
Oh yes,
All that
yes.
news came out.
She was from the Real Lives of Mormon Wives or some crap. Yes,
I never heard about her in my life, but that obviously went viral, right? And so I took a deep dive into it, and I'm like, who watches this? And apparently it's huge.
Some of my smartest friends. Honest to God, some of the people I like the most. And they will just take me, like, they'll start talking about it and then they'll move it to a different group text. I'm like, I want nothing to do with this. These people have no talent.
You know what they need to watch? They need to watch their local sports programming, especially around the playoffs. Coming up, hopefully right now we're in a deep playoff run for both the Bruins and the Celtics. The Red Sox are kicking off. You got to see Trenni on TV. I love what you guys do on TV and on the radio. It's a great stuff, and I love
got
even
some hot
more.
Red Sox takes.
Yeah. And I love even more that you're a runner. But Erica has one more question for you too.
Yes. So, Trenni, we have a Spotify playlist, and we like to invite our guests to add a song to it. So, is there anything that gets you generally pumped up, ready to do whatever you got to do that day? Just getting out there.
Okay, so I'm going to throw out two just in case either one of these is already on the Spotify playlist.
You got it.
I love My Shot from the Hamilton soundtrack.
Oh, yeah.
I think it is such a jam, and it is so great if you're getting pumped up before a race because it's like, I'm not going to throw away my shot. My other one, I love Taylor. I love Taylor Swift. And Who's Afraid of Little Old Me is like my Taylor. Also Out of the Woods, but that's probably on there. I'm sure Out of the Woods is already on your Spotify playlist.
I feel like Kelly Roberts might have picked that one. Somebody picked it.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like
One
that's
of those.
that's a pretty. It's like I think that's a classic. But Who's Afraid of Little Old Me is like, yeah, you want to mess with me? You're not.
Oh, I love this. That's
Yeah.
exactly
That
the
was
vibe
awesome.
we're going for.
That was awesome. Final thought here. I used to work in NASCAR. I had a guy on my team. We were on the pit crew. His name was Ethan Marquette. He's from Wisconsin. He always said, Marquette University is my college. I own it. And you went to Marquette. I thought that was cool. But you're from Wisconsin, and now you live in Boston. Let's talk a little bit about the accents here. Have you picked up the Boston? Have you say a little wicked, or do you still talk little Wisconsin?
So I must do a little bit of both. Because sometimes I will slip into a Wisconsin accent on the air, but I did something last week on the air, and I don't remember if it was Phil Perry and Mark Bertrand or if it was Phil Perry and Adam Jones, which is funny because Bertrand and Jones go against each other.
Yeah.
They're on rival stations at the same time.
Yep.
But they were both like, "You just dropped your R," and I was like, "What?" Which is kind of weird because nobody drops their R's anymore. Like it's like a dying dialect. But I definitely still have a little bit, especially if you get a cocktail or two in me. I will the Scotty accent will come out. Oh yeah, yeah.
That's
Usually
great.
a couple of drinks. That's when I drop my R's. So it happens.
Yeah.
And I'm not
So-
even technically from Boston. It happens.
It happens.
It happens. Well, hey, this was incredible. In a couple of weeks, when we finish the pit, we actually are going to do a whole episode just about it. Just like last year.
We did it
a couple
before,
of us-
yeah, for season one.
So
It was
if
fun.
you watch the whole thing and binge it like we do, and want to jump on and give us your take about, I'm not going to give any spoilers, but I did
Don't get
text.
yes.
I'm only
I'm only
like
in the
4
7, 8.
episodes in. I got a ways to go too.
Yeah, there's some stuff.
Ooh, there's some stuff.
There's some.
I can't
there's
wait.
some
I love
things,
stuff.
My favorite TV show of all time is ER. I had the box sets, and I love Noah Wiley, and I love, Anthony Edwards and Clooney and all those guys in it. And I felt like watching on Thursday nights was a big thing. Now, it's funny, he's doing the same thing. It drops on Thursday nights. I can't get that into it, so I've saved some episodes, and every 3 weeks I'll watch like 3 episodes. I'll binge the whole thing again. But ER was so good. But the stuff they do in the pit, you could never do on
Well, there was that one scene.
cable TV.
Absolutely. You can't show that on TV.
Oh, from this season, there's one a scene like
just
that?
from the pit in
Whoa.
general. The first season, the birth scene. Like that would never.
Oh, that
that
Yeah,
would
that's
never
gross.
be
Pretty
on
intense.
ER, even in the 90s. So,
Okay. All right. Well, now I'll have to binge so I
It's
can
like
be a part of
episode
this.
2. There's a scene in episode 2. Is that the one, Eric? I think you're thinking.
So I've only seen episode 1. That's where I'm at. So
You'll know when you see it. You'll know.
Okay, great. Can't wait to tell you guys about it.
I was not ready for it.
Okay.
And
It was
Okay.
funny. So we were talking about it with it's 3 girls and Eric. And so he's saying, "Oh my God, this was the worst thing." And we're like, "Is it this scene? Is it this scene?" And then we see what he was talking about. We're like, "Is that what you mean?" Like it does not hit us as much as it hit him.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Mhm.
yeah,
Okay.
I was not ready.
I guarantee you'll be able to
I'll
figure
know.
it out.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
I
I
wasn't
can't wait to circle back on this.
Yes.
I was not comfortable. I was more comfortable with the birth scene, which I've seen a couple of births, and I don't know. I was like, that was the coolest thing in the world.
We had to Google if that was
But-
real or not because we weren't sure. It was great.
Well, this was
Anywho.
incredible. Thank you
Thanks,
so
guys.
much.
Thanks for having me on.
I
It
hope
was
you
such a
enjoy.
pleasure.
Yeah, I hope you enjoy the marathon and the whole festivities. I hope you get to enjoy it. I love that Sean is a hockey guy. I'm a huge hockey guy, and I saw you went to the Habs game. I thought that was cool. I've been to a game up there. I actually saw, until Sean this, the Hartford Whalers play in Montreal. Like I've been up there a couple
Wow.
of times. So that's like, if I'm traveling for work, I always look up who's playing hockey in this area. Minor league, NHL, I don't care. I go. So I love that you went there and got to experience that. I thought that was cool. I love what you do on TV and radio, and I love following all your running and stuff. It's awesome. Thank you so much for coming on this podcast. Erica, any final words for Trenni?
I just want to reiterate that I think you're awesome for doing all that fundraising that you have been doing, especially your run for MS. I think that's just a wonderful way to remember your aunt. So congratulations. That was such an amazing feat. And yeah, we're gonna keep tabs on you and see what you're up to next.
Sounds good, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed that because that was wicked awesome. Trenni Casey on the On the Runs podcast.
Trenni, you are incredible. We had so much fun talking to you, and your stories were amazing, both Code Brown wise and just heartfelt running for your aunt. We felt it the whole time, and I just think you're incredible. So next time you're in our area, let us know. I'd love to get a run with you, and if not, I hope you enjoy cheering on the sidelines at the Boston Marathon. She's got a
Yes.
comfy seat.
What was really cool and something we didn't talk about was she jumped on right after the Lots bombs. And there was
Yes,
some
yes.
crosstalk that wasn't recorded for like 20 minutes. And it was a lot of fun. So Trenni in the
that.
past, when NBC Sports had the Boston Marathon, she interviewed the winners. And her and Chris
fun.
were, talking like, they're like, we never met face to face, but we've emailed many times before. It was kind of cool. We brought them together face to
I
face.
love that. I love
It
that.
was fun. That was a blast. We've been, like I said, I've been following her for a while. She was already following the podcast and she delivered. She absolutely delivered that story
Incredible
about like,
storyteller.
yeah, the one story about the DNF where she's like, I just started working in this city less than a year and I'm going to shit all over myself in
She's
Wellesley.
gonna defile Wellesley.
Yeah.
Oh, Trenni. Oh,
Explode.
we felt for you. We really did.
She was
Ugh.
great. Thank you. Like we talked to her for an hour and a half and much before and after, and it was well past all our bedtimes. That was a ton of fun. So
Worth it.
if
So
you
worth
see
it.
her on TV or if you see her running and you're a pod fam just like her now, say hey. Say I loved it. That was incredible.
Yes.
Trenni was awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you to Dawn for my race tats. That was awesome. Final few things to touch up on before Boston this weekend, guys. Don't forget, Saturday live show, Boston City Hall Plaza from the Fan Fest. Saturday is 6:30 to 8, and we're going to go to the Sam Adams Tap House after. Is it the Tap House or the Brew House?
I have no idea, but it's like right next door, so you can't miss it.
Right. We're going to go celebrate. And then on Monday, mile 19.2, just in your Google Calendar or in your Google Maps, put the Johnny Kelly statue. You might want to park at the high school near the baseball fields. That's where we'll be parking. If you want to meet us, shoot us a DM. Shoot Erica a DM, actually, because she'll have more time to send you the pin.
I did actually send a pin today. Kat Brown and her husband Carter are going to join us. She thinks so. So
Candace
this
is
is
going
her.
to be there. Steve's going to be
I'm
there.
so pumped.
Jen.
Rachel's coming this year.
Liz Boyd.
Oh my God.
Ian,
I love
think.
this.
Yes, it's going to be a blast.
Party.
So, of course, Tara Pterodactyl and Lindsay. Our goal is don't let Lindsay go, what do you call it, bandit the last 7 miles with a friend.
She can't, no.
Yeah. Patrick Lieber says he's not coming, but I don't believe him. So we'll see him there.
Well, he hasn't booked my spare bedroom, so I don't know.
Well, Wyatt is going to be in town too.
That's right. And he also hasn't booked my spare bedroom.
And he might come on the podcast Saturday, guys. He might.
Oh, that's amazing.
We're talking about it.
We've got so many PodFam down there. Like, how are we going to choose who we talk to?
I know.
That's a good problem to have.
Hey, did you see this Paris water bottle, no water bottle, reusable cup debate? I don't know if it's a debate, but like clown show.
You know what I did? So I really like that races are starting to go cupless. I mean, ultras have been doing that for a long time now. But the way that Paris did it was a little different. They had literally 0 cups on course and only hoses. So that is definitely a different way to do things. And I could see how that would be a little bit of a shit show.
I love like the idea of doing this at an ultra, maybe some smaller races.
It's easier to do them at the smaller races, of course.
I'll tell you what, you can't do this at a marathon that has over 10,000 runners. You can't do this at a 5K in New Hampshire that has over 5,000 runners. You just can't. Like, I just pictured people stumbling over each other, waiting in line, like, and then some people deciding not to wait because of their time, and then they don't get water.
That could be.
I also feel like
dangerous.
I know. I also feel like more water was wasted that was sprayed from the hoses into these cups, and it just ricochets out of the cup.
Because it sprays so forcefully.
Yes.
So I can see how it would be very frustrating for the runners just not being able to get the hydration you need. But I can also see how much fun it would be to be a volunteer. Just be like, all right, who wants some? And just spraying down the masses.
I could see that too. And I could see back of the Packers having a blast, like, spray me. But I can just see people who are competitive and want to have a good time be like,
yeah, it's rough.
Right.
If
I
you
mean,
want
at
to
these
perform.
big races, just do a whole recycling incentive, like paper cups, and you recycle them all.
Yep. So it's either that or I know Berlin has done like the plastic cups, and those can get recycled as well. So there is different ways to do it.
Yeah. Well,
I think that Paris dropped the ball a little bit.
Well,
they need
I saw
work.
some videos, and it just looked like a clown show.
Messy. So messy.
Yeah, messy.
Ugh.
Messy is the good word. Messy. Ultra is perfect. Carry your own water bottles. Carry your own cup for an ultra. Perfect.
Yes.
Something slow where you don't need to worry about your pit crew time NASCAR style.
I actually have one of these reusable cups handy because my ultra stuff is behind me. But they're nice, like squeezy, so you can fit them in a pocket if you need to. And like they have a loop. So I keep a carabiner on it so I can clip it to somewhere if I don't want to put it in a pocket or don't want to lose it. So there are really easy ways to do it, but not everybody has one of these. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people don't run with like a handheld hydration vessel. So it's an adjustment for everybody, really.
It's perfect for an ultra.
Yes.
Not a big marathon.
Soda. Soda goes great out of these things.
Oh, I'm excited. I want to do more of those debates. That was a quick one. But the one from the other day.
I think we're on the same page on this one.
Yeah,
it's not
as
well
fun when
executed.
we're on the same page.
You just like to
stir the pot.
Yeah.
Stir the pot.
Shit
Erica's
stirrer.
cheap.
Well, yeah. I mean, come on.
Give me more. She's like, give me more. Give me more. What's that song? Anyways, I digress.
Brittany.
Oh, yeah, Brittany. Did you see? I'm not even a Justin Bieber fan, but this made me happy.
What?
Did you see him at Coachella last night? Wednesday night?
Coachella? Yeah. He was just literally like YouTubing himself and singing with his
But
That's
at one
That's
point,
actually cute.
he like had a real genuine smile, and it was almost like he went from sad to happy, just like this one point.
Oh,
It was
yeah. I
good.
didn't see his whole set, but that is adorable.
Yeah.
Like I heard some of it, and I was like, oh, he's singing with himself.
First time in like 4 years.
Yeah. Oh, I know he's been going through a whole bunch of like health issues. I don't know the details of that, but I'm glad he's like happy.
Yeah.
I like his music, man. I will admit that all day long.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll be playing some music on Monday. We'll be having a good time all weekend. I can't wait. I think, though, it's time to send us home 6-star.
Well, if we're going out, we're going out with a bang. And by that, I just mean thank you, My Race Tats. We really appreciate you, and we're sorry that we forgot to say it last week. But thank you to everybody.
Tuesday.
Oh my God. I don't know what day it is. My weeks are blending. Boston weeks. So exciting. But thank you all for listening. You know, we love you.
Don't fear the code brown, and see you in Boston this week, guys.
And most importantly, don't forget to stretch.
Oh, Winnie, my dog's getting yelled at because Sean wants to take her out for a walk and she's like ignoring it and she's side eyeing him.
Oh no.
Having dogs pretty much is just like having children.
Oh,
Like,
it
we're
is.
just
In
like,
fact,
it is like having children.
Yeah.
We have a dog. We have 2 golden retrievers. Winnie is the girl and Wally is the boy.
Oh, I love it.
Winnie
Now-
Cooper and Wally Cleaver.
Okay. I was going to
Yeah.
guess Lake Winnipesaukee.
Everybody thinks that. No,
And Wally
no,
from the
we-
Red Sox.
Yeah.
And now everybody thinks that all the time, that there's like a
help
there's
it.
like nope. Winnie Cooper from Wonder Years, and then we had Wally. And we were like, well, we
I
have to give
love
Wally a
Winnie
middle
Cooper.
name.
Oh my
We
God.
were just
Who
talking
doesn't
about that
love
the
You
other
just
day.
brought me back.
It's so great.
Oh, I hit the wrong button.
You gotta leave it now.